the session. Thank you.
Sita Vishiko Hata Vishnu Dam Vishirna Damshaha Shatajya Paripluta Atataino Me Prasabham Abhisasara Mad Vadhartham Sabhavantu Me Bhagavan Gatir Mukunda. May he, Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who awards salvation, be my ultimate destination. On the battlefield, he charged me as if angry because of the wounds dealt by my sharp arrows. His shield was scattered, and his body was smeared with blood due to the wounds. So, Bhishma Dev is meditating here on the beautiful form of the Lord. Specifically, here he's mentioning his meditation on the form of the Lord, who has been wounded by the arrows of Bhishma Dev. So Bhishma Dev not only was shooting arrows at Arjun, but also shooting arrows at at Krishna. And Krishna's shield was also scattered, and apparently Krishna was having wounds from where the blood was also oozing, and his body was smeared with the blood due to the wounds, and he was carrying the wheel on his hand and charging at Bhishma Dev to kill him, apparently very angry with Bhishma Dev. And Bhishma Dev is saying, let that Krishna be my ultimate destination. So this is very difficult for non-devotees to understand, that how is it that Krishna is coming apparently with wheel in the hand to kill Bhishma Dev, and Bhishma Dev is feeling so much love for the Lord. Not only that, Bhishma Dev was feeling love for the Lord, but even toward the end of his life, he's meditating on that how Krishna came charging at me with the wheel on his hand to kill me. This cannot be appreciated or understood by non-devotees. Only a devotee can appreciate. Text 39. Now this is actually a very beautiful words. Vijaya Ratha Kutumba Adatotre Dhrityahaya Rashmin Taj Shreyikshaniye Bhagavati Ratirastume Mumulshur Yamiha Niriksha Hatagata Swarupam. Vijaya Ratha Kutumba Atatotre. So Bhishma Dev is saying, at the moment of death, let my attention, my ultimate attraction to be Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. I concentrate my mind upon the chariot driver of Arjun, who stood with the whip in his right hand and a bridle rope in his left, who was very careful to give protection to Arjun's chariot by all means. Those who saw him on the battlefield of Kurukshetra attained their original forms after death. So this is a beautiful words, one of the very beautiful verses from the prayers of Bhishma Dev. So Bhishma Dev is saying here, Vijaya Ratha Kutumba Atatotre. Vijaya is the name of Arjun. As we discussed before, also Arjun has 10 different names. So one of the names of Arjun is also Vijaya. So Krishna was referred also as Vijaya Sakha, the friend of Arjun. So here it says Vijaya Ratha Kutumba. Ratha means chariot. So chariot of Arjun was like Kutumba. Kutumba generally in Sanskrit means the family. So the meaning of kutumba is a person is willing to do all kinds of misdeeds or bad things to protect their family. You generally see people in this world, they will even adopt the foul means, or they will do practically anything to protect their family, to protect their kutumba, or even to do the maintenance of their family. They will sometime adopt even foul means. They will do thievery. They will even kill others, plunder others, just to maintain their family. So the kutumba means the object of affection, for which a person is willing to do practically anything and everything. For Krishna, Vijaya Ratha was like kutumba, the object of protection at all risk. Prabhupada says. So he was holding, Aditotre means he was holding a whip in his right hand, and he was giving carefully protection to the Arjun's chariot. Dritahaya Rashmin Tat Shriya. So he was having this ropes of the horses in his hand, in the left hand, and the right hand he was holding the whip, to drive the horses. Such a beautiful meditation he's having, that Krishna looked so beautiful holding the reins of the horses in the left hand and the whip in the right hand. He was driving very carefully and giving protection to Arjun's chariot very carefully. So giving protection to chariot of Arjun means you are not only protecting chariot, but using chariot to protect Arjun also, who was sitting on the chariot. I'm forgetting the name of the warrior, one of the warriors on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. He actually, it was Arjun. Arjun and who was fighting with Karna. Karna was fighting with Arjun, and Karan's chariot driver was the maternal uncle of Nakul and Sahadev. His name was Shalvaraj. He was the king of Madras, the southern part of India. So he was brother of Madri, who was mother of Nakul and Sahadev. So Maharaj Pandu had two wives, Kunti and Madri. So Madri's brother was Madra Naresh, was king of Madras. He was also called, Madras was called in those days Madra. So he was the king of Madra Raj. So he was naturally having affection for Nakul and Sahadev, and he was coming to take part in the battle of Kurukshetra on the side of Pandavas. So Shakuni, he knew that the king of Madra was very, very powerful warrior. Beside his army, which was also very powerful, the king himself was very powerful warrior. So he wanted to trick and have the king of Madra on his side. So he crookedly advised Duryodhan that, when I heard this Madra Naresh is coming to meet Yudhishthira Maharaj and be on his side to take part in the battlefield. So what you do is, on the way, you put camps and all the facilities to take care of the king and his army. They should be provided with nice food, nice staying facility wherever the night arrives. They should have nice food and nice staying facility. All the water and everything should be provided to them. So because Duryodhan was a very good administrator, he made arrangements. So the king of Madras was thinking that this is being arranged by Yudhishthira Maharaj. He was telling all the servants who were actually making arrangement and giving him all these food and all the comforts. He told them that, I will tell Yudhishthira that, you did really good job. He didn't really ask them. He considered he took it for granted that this was arranged by Yudhishthira Maharaj. But it was actually arranged by Duryodhana. So before he was just about to reach, to meet Pandavas, that night before, Duryodhana came there and he said, my dear uncle, because you are also Pandava's uncle, so you are also my uncle. So my dear uncle, I hope you like the hospitality. So he said, yes, of course, Yudhishthira has arranged hospitality. He won't leave any, shortcoming. There won't be any shortcomings in his hospitality. So Duryodhana said, well, I'm really happy that you like the hospitality, but just want to let you know that it was not arranged by Duryodhana, it was arranged by me. Because you are also my uncle, So I just felt the obligation that I should, make some nice arrangement for you. And the king was shocked. He said, no, I mean, how did that happen? Why did you arrange this for me? Didn't you know that I was going to meet Pandavas to fight against you? He said, that's okay. Duryodhana said, that's perfectly fine. You can fight against me. But because you are my uncle, I wanted to serve you. So king became very happy. He said, I'm very happy with your hospitality. You ask me any boon. I'll give you some boon. So Duryodhana said, well, if you want to give me boon, I'm in the need now because the war is going to happen. So I would like you to be on my side. So the Shalva Naresh, the Shalva, that the king of Madras, he actually became obliged. So he took the side of Duryodhana. And of course, Pandavas, they were a little disappointed, but they understood, that this is the Kshatriya code. So they took the blessings. They said, you at least give us blessings, that we may be victorious. And he said, yes, I may be fighting on the side of Duryodhana, but my blessings will be always on your side. So it so happened that one time, so this Shalva was always, because Duryodhana asked him that you become the chariot driver of Karna. Because this Madra, king of Madra, was not only expert warrior, but he was very expert in chariot driving. He was almost competent, and Duryodhana said, if Arjun has Krishna as his chariot driver, and if Karna has you as a chariot driver, I'm confident that Karna will be victorious. But the problem was Shalan, this Madra Naresh, he was actually always, because he was thinking of the victory of the Pandavas, he would always criticize Karna. He would always use the sharp words to create the discouragement in Karna. He would tell Karna, Karna, why don't you run away from the battlefield? Because when you meet with Arjun, you will be finished. Your life is going to be finished. If you want to live a life, then leave the battlefield and go and hide somewhere. Because Arjun is not going to leave you. He's going to finish you. And you don't have any ability to defeat Arjun. So Karna would actually feel very angry. My chariot driver is speaking these kind of words, so he'd feel great angry. And, finally, he had kept one very special weapon for killing Arjun. That time, the Mother Naresh thought, that I had been doing injustice, so let me give him some good advice. So he told Karna, don't target Arjun's head. Target Arjun's chest with this weapon, and you will have Arjun surely dead. And Karna was thinking, this person is always, being so insulting to me. And now he's advising me that I should target Arjun's heart and not the head. He didn't say anything to the king of Madra, who was driving his chariot. He simply targeted Arjun's head. And Krishna, understanding this, that this was the invincible weapon, when Karna is shooting at Arjun, it has to take something from the Arjun. If it is targeted his head, then it will take his head away. So as Karna shot the arrow, Krishna, using the chariot reins, he actually hit the horses in such a way that the horses sat down. And when the horses sat down, the chariot bent down a little bit. And Karna was targeting Arjun's head. So the chariot went a little down. It took away Arjun's crown. Instead of head, it just took away Arjun's crown. No. So though the king of Madras, he actually gave a very valuable advice, but because Karna was, having that hated feeling towards the king of Madras, because of constantly being insulted, he did not take that advice. And Krishna very carefully protected Arjun and the chariot of Arjun. So therefore, this word Vijayaratha Kutumba is very significant in that. Krishna, by all means, was willing to give protection to Arjun and his chariot. Then we go to text 40. Lalita Kati Vilasa Valguhas Pranya Nirikshana Kalpito Rumana Kritam Anukritapya Unmadanda Prakritim Agankila Yasya Gopa Vadhavan. Here in this verse, Bhishma Dev is remembering, let my mind be fixed upon Lord Sri Krishna, whose motions and smiles of love attracted the damsels of Rajavadhu, the gopis. The damsels imitated the characteristic movement of Lord after his disappearance from the rasa dance. So Bhishma Dev, though he is situated in the Virya Ras means in the mellow of fighting with Krishna, showing his strength and chivalry to Arjuna, to Krishna. So Bhishma Dev's relationship with Krishna is in that of Viryaras, the chivalry. He wants to show his spirit of fighting to Krishna. And Krishna is also fighting with him in one way. But that doesn't mean that Bhishma Dev is ignorant of other rasas. Just like, for example, Hanuman. Hanuman is situated in Dasyaras with Lord Ramachandra. He is very eager to serve the Lord, Lord Ramachandra as the master. So Lord is his master and he feels I am the servant of the Lord. And in this mode, he's always eager to serve the Lord. But that doesn't mean that Hanuman does not know the other rasas like Sakhyaras, Sakhyaras, Vatsalya or Madhuryaras. He knows, and he knows the glories of those devotees as well. But he's fully satisfied being the servant. So similarly, Bhishma Dev is fully satisfied being in Virya Ras with Lord Krishna. But at the same time, he's fully aware of other rasas and Krishna's dealing with other devotees. So he's meditating also here on Krishna's pastime with the gopis. That how the same Lord who is giving so much satisfaction to Bhishma Dev on the battlefield also gave so much satisfaction to damsels of Raja. Then text 41. Muni Gana Nipavarya Sankulena Tam Sadashi Yudhishthira Rajasuya Esham Arhanam Upapeda Ikshiniyo Mamadrishi Gochara Ish Aviratma. He says, at the Rajasuya Yajna sacrifice performed by Maharaj Yudhishthira, there was the greatest assembly of all the elite men of the world, the royal and learned orders. And in that great assembly, Lord Sri Krishna was worshipped by one and all as the most exalted personality of Godhead. This happened during my presence, and I remember the incident in order to keep my mind upon the Lord. So here, Bhishmadev is remembering the incidents of Rajasuya Yajna. During the Rajasuya Yajna, Krishna was offered Agra Puja. Agra Puja means the very first worship. No, and that first worship, generally in the Rajasuya Yajna, what happens is the great sages, the great kings of the world, and saintly persons, and even some of the demigods come to participate. No? So when Yudhishthira Maharaj was performing Rajasuya Yajna, Krishna was also present, and not only Krishna but all the great sages, they had also come from different parts of the world. So Vyasdev, Dhaumya, Parashar, and even the sages like Vishwamitra, Vashishta, Kripacharya, so many great sages were actually present from all over the world. And amongst all those great sages, the Pandavas, especially Yudhishthira Maharaj, he offered the Agra Puja, the very first worship to Krishna, indicating that Krishna was the topmost worshipable personality among all those who were present in Rajasuya Yajna. And nobody objected. All the great sages, Vyasdev was there, and all the great sages were there. None of them they objected. Nakul actually suggested, Nakul and Sadi, they suggested that Krishna should be worshipped, and everybody happily accepted it. And Yudhishthira Maharaj was hankering for that event. In fact, he performed Rajasuya Yajna only with this intention that I'll get an opportunity to worship Krishna, because Krishna will be offered at the Agra Puja, the very first worship. So only there was one person in the entire assembly, which was the paternal cousin of Krishna, Shishupal, who was the son of Vasudev's sister. So in one way, he was also related to Pandavas, because Vasudev's sister was also Kunti Maharani, and Vasudev's another sister was married to the king of Chedi, Dhamaghosh. Dhamaghosh was the king of Chedi. So from them was born Shishupal. So Shishupal was cousin of Krishna and Pandavas as well. And he, objected. He actually was always critical to Krishna. Not only critical, but he would use all kinds of bad words for Krishna. Right, even from his childhood, when he couldn't speak anything. When he was learning to speak, the very first thing he learned to speak was blaspheming Krishna. So right from his tender age, Shishupal was so hateful to Krishna. So in the Rajasuya Yajna, when he saw Krishna was being offered the first worship, he couldn't tolerate. He became so mad. So Bhishmadev is remembering all the incidents that happened during the Rajasuya Yajna, how Krishna was actually offered the very first worship. And everybody accepted him. The only person, Shishupal, who did not accept, he started not only objecting and criticizing Krishna, but he started criticizing everyone. He had also come to participate in Rajasuya Yajna. And Rajasuya Yajna means he accepted Yudhishthira Maharaj as the emperor. He accepted himself as subordinate to Yudhishthira Maharaj. So when he saw that Krishna is being worshipped, he started criticizing Yudhishthira Maharaj also, that I came thinking that you know the purport of dharma, or you actually are Dharmaraj, you know dharma's meaning. Thinking like that, I thought, I will accept you as my emperor. But what is this nonsense you are doing? You are worshipping this cowherd boy. Is he superior than, he's greater sage uh, than Vyasdev? Is he much more experienced and great warrior than Bhishma Dev? No. And in this way, he was comparing Krishna with so many great personalities present in that assembly, which was actually, in one way, insulting Krishna. So he was insulting Yudhishthira Maharaj. He insulted even Bhishma Dev, because Bhishma Dev was also very eager to see that Krishna being worshipped. So he was practically insulting everyone who was happy seeing Krishna being worshipped. So all the devotees were being insulted. And Krishna had to actually, he was bound by some promise that he had given to his paternal aunt, the sister of his father, Vasudeva, that he will tolerate 100 offenses from Shishupal. 100 offenses means 100 offenses committed in one row at one time. Shishupal had committed thousands and thousands of offenses against Krishna. But he used to be very conscious, because he knew that Krishna has given promise to my mother that he will tolerate my 100 offenses. So he would exactly count up to 99. He will offend Krishna 99 times and then he would stop. But on the day of Rajasuya Yajna, Krishna also incited him. Krishna also incited him to commit more and more offenses, so that he became so mad. Especially, Krishna pointed out the incidents of Rukmini during the Rajasuya Yajna to Shishupal. So Shishupal was insulting Krishna, so Krishna said, you just keep quiet, rascal. You don't even have any civility. You were forcibly trying to marry Rukmini. She had no interest in getting married to you. You are trying to forcibly marry her. What kind of Kshatriya you are, A woman who's, simply not interested in getting married to you, you want to force her to marry you? So Shishupal became so angry and outraged. He told Krishna, why you're bringing that topic up, Because Shishupal used to always think in the mind that Rukmini was mine. And Krishna has stolen away Rukmini from me. So Krishna also incited him on that day, and he went so mad after that. He didn't care what 100 offenses, what Krishna will do to me. So he went overboard and committed more than 100 offenses. And Krishna took the Sudarshan Chakra and chopped off his head. And then, of course, Pandavas, they are worshipped. Yudhishthira Maharaj actually worshipped Krishna in that assembly. So Bhishma Dev is remembering all those events, that how Krishna was worshipped in that assembly of Rajasuya Yajna, after killing of Shishupal. He says, I especially noted that incident, in order to keep my mind fixed on that. Then, text 42. Tam imam aham ajam shariram bhajam hidi dishtitam atmakalpitanam pratitisham ivaneka dharkam ekam samadhi gatosmi viduta bheda moha. Now I can meditate with full concentration upon that one Lord, Sri Krishna, now present before me, because now I have transcended the misconceptions of duality in regard to his presence in everyone's heart, even in the hearts of mental speculators. He is in everyone's heart. The sun may be perceived differently, but the sun is one. So here Bhishma Dev is, praying or meditating on the opulence of the Supreme Lord as Paramatma. So he's remembering that Supreme Lord Krishna is actually there in everyone's heart as Paramatma. Even the hearts of mental speculators, jnanis, in the hearts of karmis, those who are very much engaged in or eager to engage in self gratification. And even in the heart of atheist who does not believe in God, Krishna is personally present as Paramatma. And he gives examples. Sun may be perceived differently, but the sun is one. So, like say, for example, in Hindi, we call sun as Suraj. No? In Sanskrit, we call it Surya or Bhaskara. No? In English, we call it sun. Similarly, in every language, the sun may be referred by different names, pronounced differently. But that doesn't mean that the sun referred by Mexican, in the Spanish language, or the sun referred by people from India, in Hindi language, or people in America calling it as sun, is a different entity. No, it's one and the same sun. It may be referred by different names, but it's still the same sun. So similarly, the Lord, who is there in everyone's heart as Paramatma, is actually one Lord, that is Sri Krishna. The different religious system, they may call him by different names. So, Hindus may call it Bhagavan, the Muslims may call it Allah, the Buddhists may call it Buddha, Christians may call it, Christ. So, every living entity may refer God by different name, but the Lord is only one Supreme Lord in everyone's heart as Paramatma. So Bhishma is actually meditating on that aspect of the law. Now, Sutta Goswami says here, text 43, Sutta Uvacham Krishna evam bhagavati mano vag drishti vrittibhi atmani atmanam aveshya so antah shvasa uparamat. Sutta Goswami said, thus Bhishma merged himself in the super soul, Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, with his mind, speech, sight, and action. And thus he became silent and his breathing stopped. So this is the passing away of Bhishma Dev, who fixed his mind on Krishna and voluntarily gave up his life. So meditating on so many beautiful aspects of the Supreme Lord and his interactions with the Supreme Lord, Bhishma Dev actually gave up his body. Text 44. So text 44. Sorry. Sampadyamanam agyaya Bhishmam Brahmani Nishkale Sarve Babhuvaste Tushnim Vyamishva Dinataye. Knowing that Bhishma has merged into the unlimited entity of the Supreme Absolute, all present there became silent like birds at the end of the day. Now, this is a little tricky statement here, by Srila Sutta Goswami. Bhishma Brahmani Nishkale. Bhishma Sampadyamanam. Sampadyamanam means merged into. So Sampadyamanam Bhishma Brahmani Nishkale. Bhishma, they merged into the Brahmani, into the Supreme Brahman, Supreme Absolute Truth. That is Krishna. So Krishna is referred here as Brahmani. And Sampadyamanam, merge, doesn't mean that Bhishma's soul merged into the Supreme. So knowing Krishna to be non-different from the Super Soul, Bhishma Dev, he actually merged his consciousness unto the Supreme Lord. That means he still remained as an individual, but he, became fully Krishna conscious. And all the people who, had, different, opinions about Bhishma Dev, they all actually became silent. All present there became silent like the birds at the end of the day. So the birds at the end of the day, you see, whole day the birds will be chirping. But it's very interesting. As soon as the sunset happens, all the birds, they become silent. They enter into the trees, into their nest, and they become silent. After especially sunset, you will never hear generally the birds, voice. They become all silent. So when Bhishma Dev passed away, it was like, the sun has set. The people may have, they all had come, all the great sages and everybody had come to see Bhishma Dev. And they were talking about Bhishma Dev, and they were, talking with Bhishma Dev. But like Yudhishthira Maharaj was asking so many questions from Bhishma Dev, and sages were talking about Bhishma Dev, that how wonderful and great personality Bhishma Dev is. But as soon as Bhishma Dev passed away, everybody became silent. Text 45. Tatra Dandubhya Nedur Deva Manava. Actually 16. So maybe from text 45 we can discuss next week. Yeah, so text 45 onwards we'll discuss next week. So we'll stop here. If anyone has any questions, you may ask.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanvat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for wonderful narrations, Prabhuji. Prabhu, one thing you have mentioned, I am hearing for the first time, the 100 offenses of Shishupala. I was thinking that the total lifetime 100 offenses, but you were, thank you so much for mentioning that, Prabhu. Just sequentially, at a time, 100 mistakes, offenses, then he will be done. So that is a new point for me. Thank you so much for sharing, Prabhu. Prabhu, in the verse 39, actually, the translation, it is mentioned that those who saw him on the battlefield of Kurukshetra attained their original forms after death. So that means that who are favorable to Krishna, they attained original forms, or everybody who are envious of Krishna, they must have not got their original positions, right? Because there are soldiers envious of Krishna and favorable to Krishna also. So, how do we understand?
Well, Madhuri, there were the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna is like Kalpavriksha. Anyone comes in contact with him receives, or like in a brilliant sun. Anyone comes in contact with sun becomes purified. So anyone, even the person who are inimical towards Krishna, when they saw Krishna, and Shuddha Goswami actually describes in the previous chapters, that when Arjuna was shooting arrows at the soldiers on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, so they were becoming purified by the arrows of Arjuna, of all their anarthas and their contaminations. While looking at the face of Krishna, who was sitting in front of Arjuna, and Arjuna is shooting arrows at them, so they were purified by the arrows of Arjuna, and they actually attained Vaikuntha. They all attained actually the spiritual world.
So everybody on the battlefield got their original positions. It doesn't matter whether they love Krishna, they don't love Krishna, but they got finally original forms.
They all got Sarupa Siddhi,
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Prabhuji, in Bhagavad Gita 18.65, Lord says that Arjun, you are supposed to remember this form which is present before you at the time of death. So he's in the chariot driver form, and he's in the warrior kind of chariot driver form. So when do we have to take the words literally, or we have to take his 200 form as Sham Sundar? Or the other day I had asked question to Kamal Lochan Prabhu, and he said that our Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy is so special that even Prabhupada says you are not supposed to remember any other form like Rama or Narayana or Vishnu, but Krishna. So only Krishna can actually award you liberation. Today also we read the first verses that only Mukunda, that is he can award liberation. But is it that other forms do not award liberation? And also different devotees are of different opinion. But I was a little surprised and shocked to hear that from Kamalochan Prabhu. So when we have to take that literally, then the words of Srila Prabhupada or the words in the Bhagavad Gita, then we have to remember him in the form of the chariot driver, right, Prabhu? So I am totally confused. Could you please clarify all these doubts, Prabhu?
I think the verdict is very clear in the scriptures. Mukti pradata sarvesha Vishnur evana samshaya. So Mukti pradata is Vishnu. Vishnu doesn't mean the 400 Vishnu form, but Vishnu means category. Anyone in the Vishnu category, is actually capable of giving mukti. So anyone getting killed by the forms of the Lord, Vishnu, they in general get mukti. Now, sometime it happens that, like Jai Vijay, they are supposed to have 3 births. Okay? Not that they don't get mukti still. So as a Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, they got mukti. They got Sayuja mukti, which is temporary. So you see, Lord Ramchandra appeared 14 million years ago, right? And Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago. So 14 million years ago, when Lord Ramchandra killed Ravan and Kumbhakarna, and Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago, that time Shishupal Dantavak appeared. So where did the Jai Vijay go that time? They attained liberation. They attained Sayuja Mukti. Because the rule is, when Krishna actually kills the demons, they must attain mukti. So they attain mukti, but they attain temporary mukti. No? So anyone who gets killed by the Vishnu Murtis, the Vishnu form, they do attain mukti. No? And as far as remembering Krishna is concerned, we have to simply follow the sadhana bhakti. And automatically, Krishna will reveal from within which form we need to meditate on. So we simply need to follow the rules of sadhana bhakti, chant the holy names of Krishna, follow the regular principles, read Srila Prabhupada's books, and slowly and gradually Krishna will reveal to us who is our worshipful deity. It's actually very inappropriate to say that no other form should be meditated upon. If that was the case, then Shukdev Goswami would have not narrated all the other incarnations of Lord Krishna. Srila Prabhupada said, yes, sometimes Srila Prabhupada would be in the mood that we all want to go to Golok Vrindavan. So yes, you should simply worship Krishna, no one else. But then Srila Prabhupada also has narrated other incarnations of the Lord in Srimad Bhagavatam. And everyone has a particular rasa with the Lord and particular liking towards one of the forms of the Lord. So it will be revealed to us in due course of time which form we are attracted to and where we need to go. As I said, Hanuman is fully satisfied and happy serving Lord Ramchandra. Even Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, we see that. Even Lord Chaitanya's pastime, we see that Murari Gupta, Lord Chaitanya told Murari Gupta that Murari, you should worship Krishna. You have been worshipping Lord Ramchandra whole your life. Now you should worship Krishna. Take the initiation in Krishna mantra and start worshipping Krishna, because Krishna is the Lord of all the rasas, especially Madhurya Prem, is the special attribute of Krishna's pastimes. So you should worship Krishna. And Murari Gupta came weeping and crying next day to Lord Chaitanya. He said, my dear Lord, please give me permission that I should tie a stone around my neck and drown myself in Ganga. Lord said, why? What happened? He said, you instructed me to worship Krishna. And I thought on this matter a whole night. But when I was thinking that I have to give up the worship of Lord Raghunath, my heart was pained. It was too painful to withdraw my head from the feet of Raghunath. So, and at the same time, if I continue worshipping Raghunath, I'm disobeying your order. So, I cannot give up the lotus feet of Lord Raghunath. At the same time, I cannot be disobedient to you, because you are not different from that Raghunath. So therefore, I want to finish this life so that all my doubts will be finished. I'm in doubt. What should I do? Whether I should give up worship of Lord Raghunath or I should follow your instruction. And I'm not clear what I should do. So once I give up my life by drowning myself in Ganga, all my doubts will be clear. And Lord Chaitanya, when he heard this, he actually embraced Murari Gupta. He said, Murari, your love for Lord Ramchandra is glorious. Glorious is that devotee who can never withdraw his mind from the form of the Lord. And glorious is the Lord who never gives up the servant, never abandons his servant. Even the servant sometimes abandons the Lord. The Lord follows the servant and brings him by, catching by his shikha. So it's not that the devotees within our movement will not be attracted to other forms of the Lord. There are some devotees who are strongly attracted to worship of Lord Narasimhadev. And nothing wrong in that.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It clarifies all the doubts. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I have a small follow-up, Prabhuji. Is it okay to small follow-up?
Yeah, okay, go ahead. One last follow-up we can
Lord Ramachandra.
But before that, let me ask, does anyone else has any question? Please feel free if anyone else has. Okay, if no one, then Madhu, you can go ahead.
Prabhuji, actually, when Lord Vishwamitra Muni took Lord Ramachandra for sacrifices for killing the demons, right? Take care of sacrifices while killing the demons. So those demons were killed by Lord Ramachandra also killed so many demons, right? Before he gets married to Sita. So those demons got also liberation?
Yes, Mataji, all the demons who get killed by the Lord, they actually attain liberation. Which kind of liberation? That's a different question, but they do get liberation.
So any form of the Vishnu forms can give liberation if they are killed, if anyone killed by them, right?
Yes, that's right.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. I think we'll stop here. Thank you very much, all devotees. Yeah. Vancha kalpataru.
Kripa sindhubhyo vichya patitanam pavanam Vaishnavebhyo namo. Krishna Vrinda ki jai. Ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.